What's going on, guys? My name is Matt, and this is how I would get to 50K per month as an online coach if I had to start coaching again. Now, a quick little disclaimer. A lot of my clients who I see doing this are averaging more than 50K per month. However, I think this is just like a reasonable target for people to set, especially if you're at that like 10 to 15K mark. 50K is a good number. A lot of my clients are doing 100K per month. So this is what they do, but just dial back a little bit. So we're going to jump in and do the math. I've already started doing this because I had to refilm this, but let's get started. So if you're a coach who charges 5K upfront for 3 months, that's 10 new clients a month to get 50K. 10 people, it's not actually that much. It's 2.5 clients a week. If you currently are closing at a 30% average, which is pretty poor, I would work on that, but we'll get to that later. But if you're only closing 3 out of every 10, and you say, so that's 1/3, right? So if you're currently getting 3 leads per week now, and you close 1 a week, right? You need to increase your number of leads. That's literally all you need to do, because statistically, you will increase your close percentage. Your close amount, because you're working on percentages. That's the math. The math doesn't lie. We can get emotional about the math, but it doesn't lie. So that's all we need to do. So what I'm going to talk about now is how you can increase that lead volume, and also how can you improve your sales, and also just kind of the shit no one really talks about. The first thing is the most important, and if you watch anything in this video, just stay around for this, and then you'll probably leave this feeling a little bit silly, but it's a KISS method. If you've never heard of the KISS method, it stands for keep it simple, stupid, right? And I think this is where a lot of business owners get tripped up, is that they will find these new AI tools, this, that, and the other, that are promising these massive, grandiose results. And it requires complex workflows and all of these bells and whistles. You got to stick a finger up your nose and, dance around in a circle and hope it rains. Leads, which you don't actually need to do that. What you actually need to do is keep it really simple. So your goal for your business, especially in systems and the stuff that I talk about, is to keep it as simple as possible, because complexity fails, simple scales. Now that's just a good little anecdote. Complex solutions that I've built for clients in the past always, without a doubt, get replaced by simpler solutions. I want to share an example with you guys about my first ever automation client, which is the coaching company I was actually coaching for at the time, Lionstone Physique Coaching. The business owner, Reese, came to me and said, Matt, we need an onboarding process. We need a lead nurture process, because right now our show-up rate for when someone inquires is 20%, and we want to get it significantly higher. And I was like, fantastic. At the time, there were 5 coaches in this brand. And what I needed to do was build a system that people could inquire and select their coach, and then they would get nurturing based on that to hopefully increase the show-up rate to these calls. So what happened was I built out this massive sequence, and it was in Go High Level, and it was like, depending on if they're male, if they're female, which coach they selected, like that coach's specific nurture sequence story, and all of this information that was super personalized to the coach, all about the coach. About me, it was about how I'd lost 40 kilos, and I'd deadlifted 260 kilos, like all this kind of stuff. Done all these cool things, right? It was useless. It did increase the show-up rate, because we previously had no automated system, but we implemented a automated system. So it did increase the show-up rate. But the show-up rate went from 20%, or it was like 35% it went up to 70% when we stripped all that back. So instead of, having all the personalized everything about the coach, all this nurture stuff about the coach, we made it about the client. Crazy, right? We talk about client results. We sent them 3 emails leading up to their call, 3 text messages, and gave them a phone call the day of the actual call, and more people showed up. It went for instead of 3 out of 10, it went to 7 out of 10 people showed up for a call, which just statistically increase sales like crazy. And so instead of trying to make this super complex like closing funnel, we kept it super simple. And I've fallen into this trap before because I like complex solutions. However, complex solutions don't like business, because if it is too complicated, one, people will get lost. Two, people will not understand, because if you struggle to understand it, how the heck's a client going to understand it? And I think one of the biggest things as business owners is we just get peppered all this information about how you need to be, having this funnel and this place and this and that and the other, VSLs, all this kind of shit. Just keep it really simple. So as we move into the next 3 points, I want you to keep that in mind. The next one is find your acquisition channel and 10x the amount of work that you're doing in it. So the easiest way to think about acquisition channels is content, paid ads, cold outreach, referrals. I stole that from Hormozy, but I'm just he put it perfectly. If you make content and you are getting 3 leads a week and you put out 3 videos a week, statistically, if you increased to 10 videos a week, you would you have a 7 video increase, which would bring you that multiplier in leads, right? If you are doing cold messages, cold DMs, for example, and you're sending 20 out per day, if you send 100, you're going to increase your results by 80%. If you spend money on ads, I probably wouldn't suggest doing this at first, but if you got money to burn and you spend $20 a day on ads, and if you times that by 10, you're going to get significantly more leads. Now, this in itself, if your content, if your ads, if your outreach sucks, you're just going to get more of the same. And this is something that I needed to learn when I was coaching. It's because I was making content and it sucked. It would never really get past 200, 300 views, get maybe 1 lead a week. The thing is, the volume that it requires you to increase this much, it gives you something that you don't have before, and that's data and information. You need to find out what works for your business. So for content, for example, floating head content, kind of like what I'm doing now on Instagram, does really well for like education-based coaches. So if you want to, if someone's looking at your videos and they're expecting to learn, does really well. However, more of a lifestyle coach, holistic health, day in the life videos do significantly better for that type of coach. So if you're trying one avenue of content, but it's not working for you, 10xing it is just going to continue to remind you that it's not working for you. So what you need to do is go find a coach who's similar to you in your industry, like similar kind of vibe, that is successful, that's doing, over 100,000, 200,000 views, and copy the shit out of their videos. Same thing for ads. And cold outreach is a little bit harder to copy people's outreach, but follow someone that you know who does cold outreach and follow them on a dummy account and see if you can do a similar style of messaging, because obviously it's working. Trust me when I say you probably need to do 10 times the amount of work. I'll give you an example for me. When I started making YouTube content, actually, no. I'm going to give you a better example. If you don't know, I have another business. It's called Anime Straps Co. I actually don't have any of my straps in here. I make weightlifting equipment that's anime themed. I grew this business within less than a year to 6 figures for the year, which was insane for me because I was hand making straps. I grew it to 6 figures with TikTok only. And the way that I did it was I was making content. And at first I was just doing trends. I was like trying to weave in videos, like weave in ideas into the video. And I ended up finding one type of video that worked really well. And it was when I spoke about how I went through a really rough patch with my mental health, and I was like, drinking, doing some other stuff, and partying. And when I got into business, my mum was just my biggest fan, right? And I'd copied that video from someone else who was talking about their dad was their biggest fan. And that video got over 300,000 views. And I was like, well, I need to do more of that. And that was what was able for me to scale the business and, get Chinese suppliers and all this kind of stuff. It's because I found something that worked and then I 10x'd it. I just was making content every day, similar, my journey, my story, party guy, ended up being business guy. Now this is the journey so far. That's a really good example of finding what works for you and not just throwing shit at a wall and hoping it sticks. Like, you need to actually, like, once you figure out your acquisition channel and it's, maybe it's holistic health content, a day in the lifestyle thing, 10x it. Like that guy who's going viral right now, I can't remember his name, Ashton, the big guy who's drinking, like put his face in that ice bowl. The best thing for his business right now is the fact that he found something that works, which is these preposterous morning rituals that he obviously doesn't do. He just makes, like, it's kind of satire, but takes himself seriously. Same as the Liver King. Like, all of these people found their groove and then they just went real deep on it. So you can find your acquisition channel and 10x it. That's like the biggest thing I can say. And then build systems around it. So once you find something that's working, find a way to, automate your DMs. Find a way to automate your content distribution. It's very helpful. There's a really cool guy on here for content. I think his name's Stephen Pope on YouTube for content systems. Like, once you find your thing, buy his course and set it up for yourself. The next one is learn how to actually close. This is really funny, especially in the fitness industry where we have Alex Hormozy, who gives business advice and uses all of the examples, the fitness ones. Like, it's really easy to learn how to close. I was terrible at sales, but I got good at sales when I realized that people were where I were and I just need to take them to where I was, like where I got to, which was people were overweight and unhappy with how they felt. And, they pulled their shirt down like this and they didn't want to take their shirt off at the beach and they felt bad in clothes and they wanted to feel like they should take their shirt off at the beach, feel good in clothes, all that kind of stuff. Once I understood that, I was like, I just used to say to myself, what did I need to hear at that time? I needed someone who had obviously done it. I needed to know what kind of commitment it would take for me. And I needed to know the time frame of how long it's going to take me to get there. So, like, once I knew those things, becoming like a decent salesperson when I was coaching it became a lot easier because I was like, hey, I've done this. Do you want me to help you do this? And people would say yes. And I'd be like, great, sign here. Take their payment on the phone. If you don't know how to close, find some sales training or literally just read Hormozy's stuff on it because it's really good. And then you need to do like 100 before you can feel kind of comfortable in it. If you don't want to do that, then you probably should just leave business. Sorry. Number 4 is probably what you expected me to say for number 1. But building sales and fulfillment systems comes after all of these. And I'm going to explain why. If you're trying to build a sales system or a fulfillment system for a business that gets 1 client per week or 1 lead per week, it's a wasted system. But the thing is, you think that sales and fulfillment system is going to bring more clients. It does nothing of the sort. All it does is either amplifies a terrible process or it amplifies a current succeeding process. The automation is there to assist the current process that's working. And you have no business automating a system that does not deserve it. And this is something that I've learned in the last 2 years, building systems for people who theorize their process versus people who actually have a process. I'll give you an example. One of my clients, NDA signed, can't say the name, they have 280 clients. Before me, they were doing everything manually. So they would get an inquiry via Instagram. They would message them on Instagram. they would have a setter inside Instagram who would talk to the lead back and forth. They would close in the DMs. Then the coach would send an onboarding form, and it was just a Google form. They would then look at those results the next day. They would then start writing a program, and then they would send a message to that client that their program was done, right? Since they started working with me, they've put on an extra 80 odd clients, right? And the only way they were able to do that was that process became a systemized process where we automated the communication inside Instagram. We automated the delivery of the the onboarding form after they had paid. So when they paid, the trigger moved them along, got them the onboarding form via SMS and email. Once the onboarding form was filled out, it then created their accounts in their training application. It then sent a welcome email. It then added them to the client's client management database. It then set up the internal onboarding checklist for the coach. It then sent notifications to Slack to communicate with their underling coaches that there's a new client and they should send them a welcome message. It's all of these things that if you don't have that process already in play, not automated, you thinking about what the best process is going to create so many issues for you because it's not proven to work. And half of me speaking to coaches is me asking these questions. Does this already exist? Do you consistently get leads? I don't want you to lie to me. I need you to tell me direct and straight. Do you actually have people running through this? Because it is a waste of time if you don't. If you're at that like 10, 15, 20K per month, you're obviously making money. You obviously have people going through this system, right? But do not try and build any kind of lead nurture funnel until it's actually proven that you can get people on a call doing it manually. And people don't want to hear this. And I lose business on this because I turn people away. But do not try and do that if it's not actually going to amplify your current process. If you're a little bit confused and you're like, I have so many leads coming through, I'm closing them, but like I lose track and all this kind of stuff. Sure. Try and flesh out a process and automate it in the process. But if you don't have enough volume, you do not have enough volume, and an automation won't fix that. That was a very long-winded explanation into when you should automate or not. But the next three automations I'm going to talk to you about, or systems rather, using automation, are what you should employ. Lead nurture. First one is when you get a lead, you need to contact them within 5 minutes of them submitting their details. I don't care if that's an email. I don't care if that's an SMS. I don't care if it's a WhatsApp message. I don't care if it's a phone call. Or like an automated voice drop. It needs to be contact within 5 minutes. You then need to have at least 2, ideally 3 follow-ups before that call. So whether or not you use Go High Level, Zapier, whatever, you need to follow up with them before the call. Once they have actually attended the call or not attended the call, you should have workflows based off that, which are the next 2. Missed call automation. So if they don't show up, which is going to be the bane of your existence because people don't show up to things, have a automation in place that waits 15 minutes after the call, sends them a text message, say, hey, life gets busy. I understand. Here's a link to book back in. And then follow up with them daily for the next 30 days until they book back in. 30 days sounds extreme. It's not. Just do it. People will either get sick of you and tell you to stop, which is good because you want an answer, or they will get back on the call and you'll close them. That's it. Very rarely do people get to 30 days, all the messages sent and not actually say something. The third one is an onboarding sequence. When people close, what happens? So you've taken payment on the phone. What's the next step? Send the client a message immediately thanking them for their business. Send the client a message immediately telling them what they have to do next. If they have a form to fill out, they need to fill that form out within the next half an hour so that you can start coaching them. If you set this person up for success and show that you care more about their goals right now than what they do, their likelihood of staying with you for a long time increases dramatically. I have seen this time and time again with coaches. People who nail their onboarding and make it feel premium, and it actually is premium, and it delivers the person to the coach, because the person needs to be delivered to the coach on a business class flight. They retain clients longer because they care, and it shows they care. Those 3 systems are your bare minimum. The additional ones are missed sale automation, missed sake automation. Hell yeah. A missed sale automation is when you don't close. And, if you don't do down sells on the phone, that's fine. Missed sale automation is a really good way to do it. Send them a text message 24 hours asking them if it was the reason they said no was related to the price. If it is related to the price, which it always is, 99% of the time, do them a discount in exchange for a testimonial. That's all it needs to be. Get them back on a call and close them. Run them through your onboarding sequence. For now, that's literally all you need to get to 50K a month. If you do this and spend 6 months doing this, I guarantee you will be further ahead than where you are. The issue is 99% of people won't do this. And it's very frustrating because I want to help you. But unless you do these kind of things, there's no point in me even trying to automate your business or helping you, because you don't have the systems in play to actually, you don't have the process in play to actually implement systems around it. So I hope you guys found this valuable. I feel like I just talked for ages. If you want more information, or if you want to quick chat with me or get in contact with me, you can join the school group below. Additionally, you could go to knockonautomation.com. Just built a new website. If you could give me some feedback on it, that would be cool. And if you wanted to work with me directly, you can apply there as well. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.